I am an avid believer in the power of the severely underrated perk, Lightborn. That's right, this video is not a troll. I truly believe that Lightborn is an incredibly valuable killer perk for several reasons. So let's talk about it. Alright, so first off, I'm going to start with a simple one and just say that I like it. I really enjoy using this perk. I think that's a major factor in anything you do in any video game. You know, for DBD, you do what you like and what you enjoy, what brings you what's fun for you. Something about Lightborn is as I said, I like it. It's fun for me to use. I really enjoy the whole slight mind game of survivors not really thinking that you may have it, you know, so they kind of keep trying because they're not they kind of keep trying because they're not really totally sure that they're missing, or if maybe you have Lightborn, or maybe they just didn't aim correctly sometimes. I like that. I like how they kind of keep trying, and then you kind of can do that mind game where you look away a little bit, you know, to like make them think that you may not have it, so they kind of keep trying on that front as well. I like that. I like that little I like that little mind game. And yeah, I know that a lot of players say that it is a wasted perk slot, and I will say again, I like the perk. I mean, I like the perk. It's fun for me. I've been playing the game long enough, so I'm pretty confident in my abilities to make up for it with my other 3 perk slots and just, you know, general game awareness. So for me, it's not a waste for me at all. There have even been matches where I took it out of my kit and then ended up wishing that I had it anyway, you know, just because survivors will, you know, find flashlights or find, you know, be able to, you know, use that, I think it's that Leon perk where they can like generate a flashbang, you know, and then you end up maybe, you know, a survivor gets away because you're like, you know what, they didn't bring any flashlights, I don't need it this time. And, you know, it ends up being where, you know, you lose a survivor because they ended up finding a flashlight, or like I said, or they found a flashbang. So yeah, my first point, guys, I'm just gonna be honest, I like using it. It's fun for me. I like the back and forth kind of I like it. I like the shutdown that's involved with that, when even when you do just kind of show them that you have it, and you can just, it's just totally like, dang, all right, well that kind of takes away from the survivor. It's like, well, that kind of takes away part of my game plan, you know. It's just fun for me to use. So yeah, my first point straight off, I just like using it. And then my second point is about the aura effect. You know, with Lightborn, you know, anybody that tries to blind you, you know, you have those tiers where, you know, you see their aura for X amount of time. That has a lot of good usage for me. You guys already know, you know, you just picked up a survivor that you downed. Out of the corner of your view, you know, one of their teammates tries to get you, and, you know, they take off when they see it doesn't work. So then you go to hook the survivor that you were carrying, and you know, most times, like say you didn't have Lightborn, and then they tried to blind you but they missed, you know, you wouldn't have any idea of where they were, which, you know, it's fine. But if you were running Lightborn and they tried to blind you, you know, it's that same scenario where you hook a teammate. Because you have Lightborn now and they attempted to blind you, you now at least know where to go next because you see their aura. You know, they could be miles away, but you see their aura for that X amount of time. So now it keeps you in chase, you know, in situations like that. At least for me, that's the way it works out for me. I like the ability to be able to kind of keep things going to where there's very little downtime with that, you know, because I'm not like, oh, I wonder where they are. It's like, oh, because I had Lightborn, whether they, you know, well, obviously they would fail, but whether they, you know, were successful with attempting to blind me or not, just that attempt gives you that aura effect, and you can see where they are and you can go to your next target. So, you know, at least for me, I like the value in that. Again, you know, that kind of goes into the just, I simply like running it, but it also gives you some extra value now, you know, with that, with the aura reading. And then the next point is that it simply takes away, you know, the other team's potential strategies. You know, there's a lot of builds and just squads that run their entire gameplay strategy is based around being able to blind the killer a lot. And you running Lightborn, and again, I'm obviously, guys, I'm speaking just from my own, you know, experience and what I've, you know, seen in the game and what I've enjoyed or not enjoyed. But obviously you running Lightborn takes away a big part of that. You know, of course, again, I know that, you know, you can, you know, some will say, well, you can just kind of look away. And yeah, that's true for some cases. And then there are some times where you weren't aware of a survivor being near you, and, you know, you kind of lose that survivor because, you know, you didn't hear them, or, you know, you kind of maybe you weren't paying attention for a split second, or you didn't notice someone running up to you out of your vision. So you end up, that survivor getting away. So yeah, it's totally true that you can, in some cases you could face a wall or look away, but then there are some times where you're not near a wall, and so you can't really look away. There have been times where it's like, dang, you can't really avoid it. So Lightborn kind of comes through with that, but again, I've seen entire squads, where they all switch to flashlights at the last second, all 4 or at least 3 flashlights, and that it's a whole strategy that they've got around, flashlights and flashbangs, and there have been times, man, where I've started a match and I know I have Lightborn and I see everybody with all the flashlights, like 3 or 4 flashlights, and I'm just like, they don't even know. They don't even know it's not gonna work. And so what I may do in some of those games is kind of, like I said in the beginning, kind of pretend like I may not have it by kind of looking away, so it makes them keep trying. And then the other part to that is, because they keep trying, that's one extra survivor who's not doing gens, because they keep trying to run up to save a teammate who just got picked up. They're not doing gens, they're not being helpful to the rest of the team, they're not healing someone, even though that's just a couple of seconds. Those are seconds. Anybody, you playing killer, a lot of the times every second counts, in some of these matches, at least where where the ones where you're taking it seriously, of course, ones where you're not really caring, then, I guess it doesn't really matter, but matches where you're actually trying to win, every second counts. So those extra 3 to 4 seconds where where one of their teammates is trying to blind me and it doesn't work, it just helps me. It puts more time back on my side. Definitely if I'm able to slightly look away or look down and make them think that I don't have Lightborn, so they're like, oh, you know what, I missed this time, but I'm gonna get you next time, so it just kind of helps in that way. So I like that as well. Last point is kind of a sum of some of the other points, which is just unexpected usage. So situations where, like I was saying, how they kind of keep trying. I've had times where they just kind of really commit to the flashlight save, or say they drop a pallet and then I break it. That happens to me a lot, where they drop a pallet and they try and flashlight and I break it, and they just kind of keep standing there holding it, thinking, I don't know whether they're maybe like a new player and they're like, this should be working, and they just keep doing it, and that's a free hit. So that's happened a lot, where there have been free hits or downs just because the player kept trying to blind when I indeed have Lightborn. So yeah, it's one of those things where it comes with some extra perks, of course, depending on who you're playing as, because yeah, there have been times where I've played against some more experienced or veteran survivors, and you can tell immediately that they know, like, as soon as they kind of aim the flashlight at you and it doesn't blind you, and they don't see their score event, where I forget what it's called, blind killer or flashlight blind or something like that, and they don't see that, they instantly drop the flashlight and they go try and do something else, because they know that opportunity is gone. Even then, that's time saved, where they're not doing something trying to apprehend you type of deal. So again, it just comes with a little bit extra usage. I've had matches, man, where I've not even where I don't even try and hide that I have Lightborn. I've had matches where I'll pick up and face the person just to show hey, that's not gonna work. I'll face the person, most of the time, you kind of turn around picking up a survivor just to make the survivor have to run around you to get the blind. There have been times, man, where I will face the survivor just hey, I have Lightborn, that's not gonna work, and they still try and do it. And it's awesome. It is absolutely awesome to me when that happens. I love it. It's fun. So that's just my take on that. I know that some think it's like I said earlier, that it's a wasted perk slot, but again, I think maybe for some killers, but for me, I think that I have enough knowledge and sense of the game and trust in my other abilities that I'm not going to be losing too much value by, even if I forget, because there have been times where I've forgotten to take it out of my kit, if a team doesn't have Lightborn, if a team doesn't have flashlights or flashbangs, and I just have it in most of my killers, so I didn't take it out, and then I didn't get use from it, but I still would end up winning the game, in a lot of cases. So that's just I guess playing the game for forever, and just better knowledge of the game. But yeah, I don't really lose a lot of value, even if I didn't get value out of that one perk, because I make up for it for the other 3 perks that I have, as well as just game awareness. But yeah, so this has been my take on Lightborn. So I'm going to go ahead and answer my question for the video. Is Lightborn an S tier / top tier perk? I'm going to say absolutely it is. In my opinion, yes, it is. Super underrated. Top tier perk. You get a lot of value out of it when you get it, you know, with the aura reading ability from people who try to blind, you know, just with the making, you know, teammates, making survivors waste time. And then, you know, there's the other part where it totally shuts down, you know, you may have like a bully squad that's just trying to keep doing like the I'm losing my train of thought with the Jane perk, where they kind of hop out of a locker and then blind you. I forget what it's called, but you guys know the one where, you know, you pop out of the locker and it stuns the killer, and then you also throw a flashbang. Stop that. It just stops so many things. You know, it stops so many bully attempts, or not even bully attempts. It just stops so many attempts to be able to stop the killer. And me, of course, as a killer main, of course, I'm gonna like that, just as someone who's a survivor main, liking having perks that apprehend the killer in some way. Which is totally fair. I don't think that's like OP or anything like that. I think that's a balancing thing, where it's like, okay, where I have this, you know, to my disposal, and you have this, I'm gonna use it to the best of my ability. So yeah, I'm gonna say super underrated perk. I wish more killers used it. I wish it didn't get so much flack, you know, where you know, people think that it's useless or whatnot. But of course, you know, everyone, you know, we all have our own opinions and everything. But yep, I'm gonna say top tier underrated perk. Yes, I said it. Anyway, guys, that's gonna be it for this one. Hope you enjoyed this video. Again, thanks to everyone who's been sticking around watching the videos. Greatly appreciate each and every one of you. With that being said, as I always say, stay safe, and I will see you in the fog.